Ladies and gentlemen, loneliness is a quiet battle, one that millions of people face but rarely talk about. For a woman with no friends, this struggle can feel even more isolating because society expects women to be naturally social, nurturing, and surrounded by a supportive circle. When that isn't the case, it can create a sense of deep disconnection, as if something is inherently wrong. But the truth is, being alone doesn't mean being broken. The world just doesn't always understand what it means to walk through life without a close circle of friends. It often starts subtly. Maybe there was a time when friendships were plentiful, school days filled with laughter, conversations about dreams and ambitions, and a sense of belonging. But as life moves forward, priorities shift. Career demands, family responsibilities, or even personal growth can pull people in different directions. One by one, connections fade. Messages go unanswered, plans get canceled, and before long, there's an uncomfortable realization: there is no one to call. For some women, loneliness is not a sudden change, but a constant companion. Some have always struggled to form deep connections, finding it difficult to open up or trust others. Maybe past experiences have made it hard to let people in, betrayals, disappointments, or simply feeling like an outsider. The pain of losing friendships or never truly having them can create an invisible barrier that makes reaching out feel impossible. It's easier to convince yourself that you don't need anyone than to risk rejection again. The hardest part is that loneliness doesn't always look the way people expect. A woman with no friends might appear perfectly fine on the outside. She goes to work, takes care of her responsibilities, and interacts with people when necessary. She might even have acquaintances, colleagues, or family members who assume she has a social life outside of what they see. But when she comes home, the silence is deafening. There are no calls to check in, no invitations for coffee, no shared inside jokes or memories being made. The world moves on and she remains on the outside looking in. Social media only magnifies the pain. Every scroll through Instagram or Facebook shows snapshots of people surrounded by friends, smiling faces at brunch, weekend getaways, birthday celebrations. It reinforces the feeling of being left out, of not belonging. Even when she knows that social media doesn't show the full picture, it's hard to shake the thought, why not me? Why does everyone else seem to have the one thing I can't seem to find? Loneliness isn't just an emotional burden, it takes a toll physically and mentally. Studies show that prolonged social isolation can lead to anxiety, depression, and even health problems. Humans are wired for connection, and when that connection is missing, it leaves a void that nothing else seems to fill. Some women try to distract themselves with work, hobbies, or self-improvement, hoping that if they stay busy enough, they won't have to feel the ache of solitude. But at night, when the distractions fade, the emptiness remains. There's also the challenge of admitting the struggle. In a society that values independence, saying, "I feel alone," can feel like a weakness. Women are expected to be strong, to have their lives together, to be everything to everyone. Admitting loneliness feels like confessing failure, like admitting that despite everything else she has accomplished, she hasn't figured out how to build meaningful relationships. So she keeps quiet, pretending that solitude is a choice even when it isn't. But here's the thing: loneliness doesn't define a person. A woman with no friends is not less valuable, less interesting, or less worthy of connection. Her journey may be different, but it is not over. Loneliness can be painful, but it also creates space for self-discovery. It forces introspection, a deeper understanding of who she is when the noise of the world fades. Many strong, brilliant, and successful women have walked this road before, turning solitude into strength. The struggle of isolation is real, but it is not the end of the story. No matter how lonely today feels, tomorrow holds the possibility of connection, of finding people who understand, of creating bonds that are meaningful and fulfilling. The key is not to let loneliness turn into hopelessness. It's about embracing the present while keeping the heart open to what's possible. Society has always placed expectations on women, defining how they should behave, how they should interact with others, and even what their social lives should look like. From a young age, girls are encouraged to form friendships, to be social, to be part of a group. It starts in childhood with playdates, school cliques, and the idea that being surrounded by friends is a sign of happiness and success. As they grow, this expectation only intensifies. Women are often portrayed as naturally social beings, caretakers, supporters, and connectors who thrive in strong circles of friendship. But what happens when a woman doesn't fit this mold? What if she struggles to make friends or finds herself without a close circle? Society doesn't always know how to respond to that, and instead of understanding, it often attaches a stigma to her solitude. A woman without friends is frequently misunderstood. People assume that if she is alone, it must be by choice. They may think she is antisocial, unfriendly, or even difficult to be around. The reality, however, is often much more complicated. Some women struggle with social anxiety, others have been hurt by past friendships and find it difficult to trust again, and some simply haven't found the right people who truly understand them. Yet instead of recognizing these complexities, society is quick to judge, labeling a woman without friends as someone who is missing something essential. The pressure to conform to social expectations is everywhere. In movies, television shows, and social media, women are often depicted in groups laughing at brunch, planning trips, and supporting each other through life's ups and downs. This portrayal creates the idea that true happiness and fulfillment can only exist through friendships. While friendships can be wonderful, this narrative ignores the reality that not everyone has or even wants that kind of social life. It makes solitude seem like a flaw rather than a choice or circumstance. The stigma becomes even more apparent in adulthood. When a woman reaches a certain age, people expect her to have an established social circle. If she doesn't, questions arise. Why doesn't she have any friends? What's wrong with her? These questions are rarely asked with genuine concern. Instead, they often come with judgment. A man without friends is sometimes seen as a lone wolf, someone independent and mysterious. But a woman without friends, she is often seen as pitiful, strange, or unlikable. This double standard only adds to the pressure women feel to maintain friendships, even if those relationships are unfulfilling or toxic. This expectation is even more evident in major life events. Weddings, birthdays, career achievements, these moments are often celebrated with friends. Society assumes that every woman has a group of people who will stand beside her, cheer her on, and support her in times of need. When she doesn't, it can feel like she is failing at something fundamental. It can be painful to experience milestones alone, not because she necessarily needs validation from others, but because the world makes her feel like she should have it. Workplace environments can also reinforce this stigma. Women who don't engage in office friendships or social gatherings are often seen as distant or unfriendly. In reality, some people simply struggle with social interactions or prefer deeper one-on-one connections rather than large groups. Yet the expectation remains: to be well-liked, a woman should be social. If she isn't, she risks being overlooked for opportunities, not because of her skills or work ethic, but because she doesn't fit the expected mold of a friendly, approachable team player. Family can add another layer of pressure. Parents, siblings, and relatives may express concern if a woman doesn't have a visible social life. They may push her to go out more, to make some friends, as if it were that simple. Even well-meaning advice like "just put yourself out there" can feel dismissive, ignoring the real challenges that come with building genuine connections. The assumption that friendship is easy and automatic can make a woman without friends feel even more isolated, as if she is failing at something that should come naturally. Dating and relationships can also be affected by this stigma. Some people view friendships as a reflection of a person's worth. When a woman has no friends, a potential partner might wonder why. They might question if she is difficult to get along with, or if something is wrong with her. This unfair assumption can make dating even more challenging, as she has to prove not just her individual worth, but also explain why she doesn't fit society's expectations of a socially connected woman. Despite all these pressures, the truth remains: friendship is not a requirement for a meaningful life. A woman's value is not determined by the number of people she surrounds herself with. Some women find deep fulfillment in solitude, while others prefer a small circle rather than a large social network. There is no single path to happiness, and the idea that a woman must be socially active to be complete is an outdated and limiting belief. Overcoming the stigma requires both personal acceptance and a shift in societal perspectives. Women who find themselves without friends should not see it as a personal failure, but rather as a part of their unique journey. It's important to embrace who they are, to understand that solitude does not equal loneliness, and to reject the idea that their worth is tied to social expectations. At the same time, society must recognize that every woman's experience is different. Some thrive in groups, others in solitude, and both are valid. Ultimately, the stigma surrounding women without friends is rooted in outdated societal norms that fail to acknowledge the diversity of human experiences. Women should not feel pressured to conform to an idea of friendship that doesn't fit their reality. Instead, they should be empowered to define their own happiness, whether that includes a large social circle, a few deep connections, or a life that is fulfilling entirely on its own. Social isolation is a complex experience that can arise from various factors, both internal and external. It is not always a choice, nor is it a reflection of a person's worth or likability. For many women, isolation creeps in slowly, a result of life circumstances, emotional struggles, or societal shifts that make forming and maintaining friendships difficult. The causes of social isolation are often deeply personal, yet they are also universal experiences that many people go through at some point in life. One of the most common causes of social isolation is life transitions. As people grow older, the circumstances that once made friendships easy begin to change. In childhood and adolescence, friendships form naturally through school, extracurricular activities, and shared experiences. There is a built-in structure that allows for social interaction. However, as adulthood takes hold, these automatic opportunities for connection begin to fade. Moving to a new city, starting a demanding career, or even entering a serious relationship can alter a person's social landscape. The friends who were once constants in life may drift away, not because of any animosity, but simply because their lives have taken different directions. Marriage and parenthood can also contribute to isolation. A woman who gets married may find that her social life shifts as she prioritizes her partner and shared responsibilities. Friends who are single or in different stages of life might not relate to her new experiences, leading to a gradual distancing. Similarly, motherhood can create a divide between those who have children and those who don't. A woman with young children may struggle to maintain her previous social life due to time constraints, exhaustion, and shifting priorities. Meanwhile, women who do not have children may feel isolated from friends who now focus entirely on family life. These natural changes can leave a woman feeling disconnected even from people she was once closest to. Work and career demands also play a significant role in social isolation. In today's fast-paced world, careers often require long hours, relocations, or intense focus that leaves little time for socializing. A woman who is dedicated to building her career may unintentionally neglect friendships, only to realize later that the distance has grown too large to bridge. Some workplaces foster friendships among colleagues, but in environments where competition is high or office relationships remain strictly professional, work can become a lonely space rather than a social one. Another major cause of isolation is personality traits and social preferences. Some women are naturally introverted and find social interactions draining rather than energizing. While extroverts thrive in group settings and enjoy frequent socialization, introverts often prefer deep one-on-one connections or time alone. For an introverted woman, making and maintaining friendships can feel exhausting, especially when the effort required outweighs the emotional reward. If she struggles with social anxiety, the challenge is even greater. The fear of being judged, rejected, or not knowing what to say in social situations can make her avoid interactions altogether, reinforcing the cycle of isolation. Past experiences and emotional wounds can also contribute to social withdrawal. A woman who has been betrayed by friends in the past may develop trust issues, making it difficult for her to open up again. Perhaps she has experienced bullying, exclusion, or toxic friendships that left her feeling unworthy or hesitant to form new bonds. These past hurts create an invisible barrier, a defense mechanism to protect herself from further disappointment. Even if she longs for connection, the fear of being hurt again keeps her from reaching out. Technology and modern communication have also changed the way people interact, sometimes contributing to feelings of isolation. While social media and messaging apps make it easier than ever to stay in touch, they do not always provide meaningful or fulfilling connections. A woman who scrolls through pictures of others enjoying their friendships may feel even more isolated, as if she is missing out on something essential. The illusion of connection through likes and comments cannot replace real human interaction, yet it often serves as a substitute, making it harder to seek genuine relationships in the real world. Cultural and societal factors also play a role in isolation. In some cultures, women are expected to prioritize family responsibilities over personal friendships. If a woman is constantly taking care of others, whether it's children, a spouse, or aging parents, she may have little time or energy left for socializing. Some women also face cultural or religious restrictions that limit their ability to engage in social activities, making it harder to form friendships outside of their immediate family. Mental health struggles, such as depression and low self-esteem, can further contribute to isolation. Depression often makes social interaction feel like an impossible task. A woman struggling with mental health may lack the motivation to reach out, feel unworthy of friendship, or assume that others do not want her around. These negative thoughts create a self-fulfilling cycle where isolation deepens, making it even harder to break free from loneliness. Finally, sometimes isolation is simply the result of bad timing. People lead busy lives and friendships require effort from both sides. If a woman has tried to connect with others but has been met with disinterest, unavailability, or one-sided effort, she may eventually stop trying. The exhaustion of constantly being the one to initiate, plan, and maintain friendships can lead her to withdraw, believing that perhaps she is better off alone. Regardless of the cause, social isolation is a heavy burden to bear. However, recognizing the factors that contribute to it is the first step in overcoming it. While some aspects of isolation are beyond one's control, others can be addressed with small, intentional efforts. The journey toward connection may not be easy, but it is possible, and no one is truly alone in their struggles. Many women experience social isolation at some point in their lives, and by acknowledging it, understanding its causes, and taking gradual steps toward change, it is possible to find meaningful relationships and a sense of belonging once again. Solitude is often misunderstood. Society tends to associate being alone with loneliness, sadness, or a lack of fulfillment. When a woman spends significant time alone, people may assume she is unhappy, struggling, or missing out on life. But solitude and loneliness are not the same thing. While loneliness is the painful feeling of being disconnected, solitude is the choice to be with oneself, to embrace the quiet, and to find strength in independence. A woman who learns to find strength in solitude discovers a level of self-awareness, resilience, and personal power that many never experience. One of the greatest strengths of solitude is self-discovery. When a woman spends time alone, she is not influenced by the voices and opinions of others. She can reflect on who she truly is, what she values, and what she wants out of life. Many people are shaped by the expectations of their social circles, making choices based on what others think rather than their own desires. But solitude provides the rare opportunity to listen to one's inner voice, to understand personal passions, and to build a life that aligns with one's true self. Without the distractions of constant social interaction, a woman can gain clarity about her goals, dreams, and the path she wants to take. Solitude also builds resilience. In a world where people often turn to others for validation, comfort, or solutions, learning to rely on oneself is a powerful skill. A woman who can sit with her own thoughts, process her emotions, and find strength from within becomes unshakable. She does not need the approval of others to feel worthy, nor does she fear being alone. She understands that she is her own source of strength, and that, no matter what life throws at her, she has the ability to navigate it. This inner confidence makes her less dependent on external validation and more capable of facing challenges head-on. Creativity and personal growth thrive in solitude. Many of the world's greatest thinkers, artists, and innovators have recognized the power of being alone. Solitude provides the mental space needed for deep thought, innovation, and creativity. Without the noise of social expectations or the distractions of constant conversation, a woman can dive into her interests, develop new skills, and cultivate talents that might otherwise go unexplored. Whether it's writing, painting, learning a new language, or developing a business idea, solitude allows for focused, uninterrupted time to create and grow. Another strength found in solitude is the ability to form healthier relationships. When a woman is comfortable being alone, she does not seek friendships or romantic relationships out of desperation or fear of loneliness. Instead, she enters relationships from a place of confidence and self-sufficiency. She does not need others to complete her, she chooses them because they add value to her life. This leads to deeper, more meaningful connections built on mutual respect rather than a need for emotional fulfillment. She understands that it is better to be alone than to be surrounded by the wrong people, and she refuses to settle for relationships that drain her energy or compromise her well-being. Solitude also fosters inner peace. In a world that moves at a relentless pace filled with obligations, expectations, and noise, time alone becomes a sanctuary. A woman who embraces solitude learns to enjoy quiet moments, to appreciate stillness, and to find peace within herself. She does not feel the need to constantly be doing something or seeking external stimulation. Instead, she finds joy in simple pleasures, reading a book, taking a walk, enjoying a cup of coffee in silence. This ability to be at peace with oneself reduces stress, improves mental health, and leads to a greater sense of well-being. Spending time alone also enhances self-sufficiency. Many people fear being alone because they rely on others for companionship, decision-making, or emotional support. But a woman who finds strength in solitude learns to rely on herself. She becomes her own source of comfort, her own best friend. She learns how to handle difficulties independently, to make decisions with confidence, and to trust her own judgment. This level of independence is empowering because it means that no matter what happens, she knows she can take care of herself. Another key benefit of solitude is the ability to set personal boundaries. Without constant social interaction, a woman gains a clearer sense of what she will and will not tolerate in her life. She is not pressured to conform to group expectations or to compromise her values for the sake of fitting in. She learns to say no without guilt, to prioritize her own well-being, and to cultivate an environment that supports her growth and happiness. This self-awareness makes her stronger in all areas of life as she no longer allows toxic relationships, unnecessary obligations, or societal pressures to dictate her choices. One of the most beautiful aspects of embracing solitude is the realization that happiness comes from within. Many people believe that they need others to feel fulfilled, that social validation is the key to a meaningful life. But a woman who finds strength in solitude understands that happiness is an internal state, not something that depends on external factors. She does not need a large social circle, constant attention, or external achievements to feel content. She finds joy in her own presence, in the things that inspire her, and in the freedom that solitude provides. Ultimately, a woman who embraces solitude is powerful because she knows she is enough. She does not fear being alone because she has built a life that is rich, fulfilling, and meaningful on her own terms. She understands that solitude is not a sign of weakness but a source of immense strength. While society may continue to place expectations on how women should live, she chooses to define her own path, one that is not dependent on the opinions or validation of others. In solitude, she finds not just strength, but also freedom, peace, and the undeniable power of truly knowing and loving herself. Rebuilding and finding connection after experiencing social isolation can feel like an overwhelming challenge, but it is also a deeply rewarding journey. The process is neither quick nor easy, but it is filled with opportunities for personal growth, healing, and transformation. For a woman who has spent a period of time feeling disconnected, the first step in this journey is recognizing that she is worthy of connection, even if the path to it feels uncertain. Rebuilding friendships, whether old or new, requires patience, vulnerability, and most importantly, a belief in one's ability to cultivate meaningful relationships. The first stage of rebuilding is often self-reflection. For a woman who has been isolated, whether by choice or circumstance, it is important to understand why the connections once present faded or were never formed in the first place. Was it a result of personal choices, such as prioritizing work or family over social life? Did past experiences, betrayals, misunderstandings, or unmet expectations create barriers to forming new relationships? Or did a fear of rejection or the vulnerability of opening up keep her from reaching out to others? Identifying the reasons behind the isolation can provide valuable insights and help her understand that the process of rebuilding isn't about going back to what was, but creating something new and better for the future. This self-awareness is a vital tool for moving forward and ensures that the connections she seeks are healthy, meaningful, and aligned with her values. Once there is an understanding of the root causes of isolation, the next step is learning to embrace vulnerability. Many women, especially those who have experienced emotional hurt in the past, find it difficult to open up again. The fear of being hurt, rejected, or misunderstood can make the prospect of connecting with others feel terrifying. But vulnerability is the gateway to authentic connection. It's about allowing oneself to be seen as one truly is, flaws, insecurities, and all entrusting that others will meet that openness with empathy and understanding. Rebuilding relationships requires taking the first step, no matter how small, to reach out to others. Whether it's sending a text, inviting someone for coffee, or attending social events, these actions allow a woman to take control of her own narrative and begin to heal from the wounds that once kept her isolated. Another key component of rebuilding connection is practicing patience. Healing from social isolation does not happen overnight, and it is essential to understand that genuine friendships and relationships take time to cultivate. Just as a plant needs time to grow, nourish, and bloom, so too do the relationships that are built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. It's easy to become discouraged when progress feels slow or when the effort to connect with others does not immediately result in deep, meaningful friendships. However, it's important to remember that each step forward is a victory in itself. Whether it's a small conversation with a colleague, a coffee date with a new acquaintance, or reconnecting with an old friend, these moments are part of a larger process of rebuilding and finding connection. A crucial aspect of rebuilding connections is setting healthy boundaries. For a woman who has been isolated, there may be a temptation to cling to the first person who offers friendship, even if the relationship is not healthy or fulfilling. But true connection comes from relationships where mutual respect, trust, and understanding are present. Rebuilding requires a willingness to assess who is truly a good fit in one's life and to distance oneself from relationships that drain or harm emotional well-being. This could mean saying no to toxic friendships, stepping away from people who don't reciprocate efforts, or simply allowing time to let relationships develop naturally. By setting boundaries, a woman ensures that the connections she builds are authentic and that she is creating a social circle where she feels valued and supported. Additionally, finding new avenues for social connection can be a powerful part of the rebuilding process. Exploring new interests, joining clubs or activities, or participating in community events provides opportunities to meet people who share similar passions and values. For a woman who may have felt disconnected from her previous social groups, these new experiences can open doors to friendships that are more aligned with who she is now. Whether it's taking a class, joining a book club, or volunteering, these activities not only offer the chance to meet new people, but also contribute to personal growth. Pursuing new interests gives a woman a renewed sense of purpose and belonging, and often leads to the kind of connections that are formed out of shared experiences and common goals. Rebuilding connection is also about embracing the idea of quality over quantity. In a world that often equates social media followings with real relationships, it's easy to feel like the number of friends or connections matters more than the depth of those connections. But when rebuilding after isolation, the focus should be on creating a few genuine relationships rather than accumulating superficial ones. True connection is about emotional closeness, mutual respect, and shared values. A smaller circle of trusted friends can provide more meaningful support than a large group of acquaintances who don't know you on a deeper level. It's the kind of relationship where both people can be vulnerable, share their true selves, and support each other through life's challenges. In addition, it's important to embrace the idea that not all connections will be permanent, and that's okay. Not every person you meet will become a lifelong friend, and not every relationship will flourish. That's a natural part of the process. The key is to embrace the journey, to learn from the connections made, and to move forward with a sense of optimism. Each experience, whether it leads to a lasting friendship or a brief, meaningful encounter, adds value to the process of rebuilding and helps to create a stronger foundation for future connections. Ultimately, the process of rebuilding and finding connection is not about erasing the past or forcing new relationships to happen. It is about acknowledging the pain of isolation, healing from it, and taking deliberate steps to open oneself up to new, authentic connections. With patience, vulnerability, self-awareness, and a focus on healthy relationships, a woman can rebuild her social life and find a sense of belonging that is deep, meaningful, and fulfilling. Through this journey, she will not only rediscover the joy of connection with others, but also gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of herself. Embracing one's own power is a transformative journey, one that requires a deep understanding of self-worth, the courage to overcome self-doubt, and the confidence to stand firmly in one's own truth. For many women, societal expectations, past experiences, or the pressure to conform can create barriers to fully stepping into their own power. This power is not about dominance or control, but about recognizing the strength that lies within and using it to shape one's own life. It is about acknowledging that, regardless of external circumstances, you have the ability to make choices, create opportunities, and navigate the challenges life presents with resilience and grace. The first step in embracing your own power is recognizing that you are inherently valuable. Society often sends messages that women must be defined by their relationships to others, whether it's as a mother, wife, or daughter, and that their worth is contingent upon meeting certain standards. These pressures can undermine a woman's confidence and sense of self. But embracing your own power starts with rejecting these limiting beliefs and understanding that your worth is not determined by external expectations or comparison. Your value comes from within, from your unique qualities, talents, and experiences that make you who you are. When you internalize this understanding, you begin to let go of the need for external validation and instead focus on cultivating self-love and self-respect. This internal foundation becomes the cornerstone upon which you can build your strength. Part of embracing your own power also involves shedding the fear of judgment or failure. Many women fear stepping out of their comfort zones or pursuing their dreams because they worry about how others will perceive them. The fear of being judged, rejected, or criticized often leads to self-imposed limitations. But power lies in taking risks, making mistakes, and learning from them. By reframing failure as an opportunity for growth rather than a reflection of inadequacy, you start to shift your mindset. Embracing your own power means understanding that setbacks are part of the journey, not a reason to retreat. It's about recognizing that the only true failure is in not trying at all. As you become more comfortable with taking chances, you build resilience and you realize that you are capable of more than you once thought possible. Another important aspect of embracing your own power is cultivating confidence in your voice and your choices. Society often teaches women to be quiet, to defer to others, or to downplay their achievements. But true power comes when you speak up for yourself, assert your needs, and stand by your decisions, even in the face of opposition. When you embrace your own power, you begin to trust your instincts and listen to your inner voice. You no longer feel the need to apologize for your opinions or second-guess your decisions. Whether in personal relationships, at work, or in any aspect of life, having the confidence to speak your truth and set boundaries is a powerful form of self-expression. Your voice is not just a tool for communication, but an instrument of change, an affirmation of your value and your right to exist authentically. Self-care is another vital practice in embracing your own power. Taking time to nurture your physical, emotional, and mental well-being is not selfish, it is an essential act of self-love. When you prioritize your own health and happiness, you strengthen your ability to show up for others and face challenges with clarity and strength. Too often, women are taught to put others' needs first, to give endlessly without replenishing their own energy. But embracing your own power means recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You deserve time to rest, reflect, and recharge. Engaging in activities that bring you joy, practicing mindfulness, or simply taking a moment of solitude to reconnect with yourself can replenish your energy and reinforce your sense of self-worth. By taking care of yourself, you are acknowledging that you deserve to be whole, strong, and vibrant, and that your power begins with taking care of your own needs. To truly embrace your own power, you must also learn to let go of fear-based thinking. Fear often keeps us stuck, limiting our potential and preventing us from pursuing our passions and goals. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, and the fear of not being enough are all common obstacles that can hold us back. However, these fears are often based on false assumptions or projections about what might happen rather than what is actually true. Embracing your own power means learning to step beyond these fears, to trust in your ability to adapt, and to take action in spite of uncertainty. It's about finding the courage to face the unknown and to realize that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. Fear may never completely disappear, but it can be transformed from a paralyzing force into a catalyst for growth and transformation. Additionally, embracing your own power involves surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, support you, and encourage your growth. It's important to build a network of relationships that nurture your sense of self-worth and push you to become the best version of yourself. This means letting go of toxic relationships that drain your energy or hold you back from becoming the person you are meant to be. The people you choose to spend your time with should inspire you, challenge you, and support you in your journey of self-empowerment. Embracing your own power means knowing that you deserve to be surrounded by people who see and honor your strength and potential. And it is okay to walk away from relationships that no longer serve your highest good. Ultimately, embracing your own power is about taking ownership of your life and the choices you make. It's about standing firm in your identity and recognizing that you are the creator of your own reality. When you begin to fully embrace your power, you shift from being a passive participant in your life to being an active, conscious creator. You realize that you are capable of making choices that align with your values and desires, that you have the strength to overcome challenges, and that you possess everything you need to live a fulfilling, authentic life. Embracing your own power means understanding that you are enough, that you are worthy of success and happiness, and that your journey is uniquely yours. When you step into this power, you become unstoppable, a force to be reckoned with, and a living testament to the strength that lies within every woman.